Welcome to this episode of Latodio, Book in Minutes, Insights for Life. Today, we're discussing Jen Sincero's powerful, energizing guide, You Are a Badass. If you're here, chances are you're looking for practical wisdom, a boost of confidence, or maybe even a push to start living a life that feels truly yours. This book is all about that, showing us how to get past the mental barriers and doubts that hold us back. In today's world, where we're often juggling so much and facing a lot of self-doubt, Sincero's insights are refreshingly honest and direct. You Are a Badass offers a roadmap for becoming more self-aware, challenging the beliefs that limit us, and stepping boldly toward what we want in life. It's packed with relatable stories, humor, and actionable advice, plus a no-nonsense reminder that we each have the power to create a life we love, even if it feels out of reach right now. By the end of this episode, you'll not only understand the main takeaways from You Are a Badass, but hopefully, you'll also feel inspired to start applying them. Because, as Sincero says, there's a badass inside all of us just waiting to be unleashed. So let's dive in and start unlocking those insights. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero is an empowering, no-nonsense guide for anyone looking to break free from self-doubt, embrace their potential, and start living a life they love. With a unique blend of humor, personal anecdotes, and tough love advice, Sincero encourages readers to take control of their lives, overcome self-imposed limitations, and pursue their dreams with confidence. The book's central themes include self-belief, personal empowerment, financial independence, and overcoming the fear of failure. Written to inspire those who feel stuck or uncertain, You Are a Badass speaks directly to readers who want to shift their mindset and make meaningful changes in their lives. By challenging limiting beliefs and encouraging readers to practice self-love and positive habits, Sincero's work has struck a chord with millions, quickly becoming a best-selling guide on personal growth. Its popularity can be attributed to Sincero's relatable tone, actionable advice, and her emphasis on mindset as the foundation for success. This book reminds us that we all have an inner badass, waiting to be unleashed, and it offers the tools to make that transformation happen. Chapter 1: My Subconscious Made Me Do It. In this opening chapter, Sincero dives into the idea that our subconscious beliefs shape our reality. She points out that many of the limits we face are ones we unconsciously place on ourselves, often rooted in beliefs we absorbed as kids. She uses her own life as an example, showing how these hidden scripts dictated her decisions and held her back until she recognized and rewrote them. Key takeaway? Self-awareness is step 1 to changing anything in your life. Chapter 2: The G-Word. Here, Sincero talks about the G-Word, God, or whatever name you give to the force that connects us all. It might be the universe, spirit, or simply energy. The main message is that there's a powerful force out there, and whether you see it as divine or not, you can tap into it. Sincero's personal story of becoming open to this concept, despite her skepticism, demonstrates how embracing this idea can bring peace and confidence. Chapter 3: Present as a Pigeon. This chapter reminds us of the power of living in the present. Sincero explains that worrying about the past or future robs us of the chance to truly experience life. She shares relatable anecdotes about how often we're mentally elsewhere, whether we're preoccupied with regrets or daydreams. She urges readers to ground themselves in the now, as it's the only place where life actually happens. Chapter 4: The Big Snooze. The big snooze is Sincero's playful way of referring to the ego, the part of us that resists change and loves to keep us in our comfort zones. This chapter highlights how the ego can lull us into a snooze, convincing us to stay the same even when change would lead to growth. She uses stories of people waking up from this snooze, realizing they've been settling for a mediocre life, and how scary yet rewarding it is to take the leap toward more. Chapter 5: Self-Perception is a Zoo. Sincero says that how we see ourselves influences everything we do. This chapter focuses on self-perception, showing how our self-image can either be our biggest ally or our worst enemy. Sincero gives examples of people who were held back by negative self-perceptions until they actively started to change how they viewed themselves. The lesson here is that seeing yourself as worthy and capable is essential to achieving anything. Chapter 6, Love the One You Is. Here's where Sincero dives into self-love, and she does it with humor and honesty. She argues that loving yourself isn't just about feel-good mantras, it's a non-negotiable foundation for a happy life. Sincero shares examples of how a lack of self-love can show up in our lives, such as staying in bad relationships or not taking care of ourselves. This chapter's big takeaway is simple: start treating yourself like someone you love. Chapter 7, I Know You Are, But What Am I? In this chapter, Sincero takes on comparison and criticism. She highlights how much time and energy we waste comparing ourselves to others or worrying about what people think. She shares stories of people she knows who stopped caring about outside opinions and started chasing their own dreams. The message is clear: run your own race, and don't let the fear of judgment stop you from being true to yourself. Chapter 8, What Are You Doing Here? Sincero asks us to dig deep and figure out our purpose. She believes everyone has a reason for being here, and discovering it is a huge part of becoming your best self. She shares her own journey of finding her purpose after years of feeling unfulfilled, which helped her move forward with a new sense of direction. She encourages readers to ask themselves what they're truly passionate about and to start moving toward it, one step at a time. Chapter 9, Loincloth Man. This chapter is about identifying and clearing out the clutter, both physical and mental, that holds us back. Sincero tells the story of Loincloth Man, a guy who reduced his life to the essentials and experienced incredible freedom as a result. While she's not suggesting we go that far, she stresses how liberating it is to declutter our lives. The lesson? Less is often more, especially when it comes to finding clarity. Chapter 10, Meditation 101. Sincero introduces meditation as a tool to connect with yourself and the source energy. She breaks down why meditation isn't about perfection, it's just about showing up and quieting the mind. She shares how meditation helped her connect with herself on a deeper level, bringing her a sense of peace and direction she didn't have before. Her approach is super accessible, making meditation seem approachable even for total beginners. Chapter 11, Your Brain is Your Bitch. In this bold chapter title, Sincero argues that our brains are powerful tools but need to be managed. She talks about how thoughts shape our actions, which shape our reality. She uses examples of people who shifted their thinking patterns and saw radical changes in their lives. The lesson? Don't let your brain run the show, take control of your thoughts and direct them toward what you want. Chapter 12, Lead with Your Crotch. It's a funny title, but Sincero's point is all about following your gut and going after what excites you. She shares stories of people who took bold risks because they felt passionate about something, and it paid off. Her advice here is to follow your excitement, even if it doesn't seem logical, because that energy is often a sign you're on the right track. Chapter 13, Give and Let Give. This chapter focuses on the importance of giving and receiving. Sincero discusses how generosity can transform our lives and create a sense of abundance. She gives examples of people who began giving without expecting anything in return and how it positively changed their lives. She also emphasizes that receiving graciously is just as important as giving. Chapter 14, Gratitude, the Gateway Drug to Awesomeness. Sincero calls gratitude a gateway drug because it's the foundation for a positive, empowered life. She shares how practicing gratitude daily helped her and others shift their mindset. This chapter emphasizes that focusing on what you're grateful for makes you realize how much you already have, making you feel more abundant and open to even more good things. Chapter 15, Forgive or Fester. Forgiveness is the theme here. Sincero discusses how holding on to grudges only hurts us and weighs us down. She shares her own journey of forgiving people in her life, which brought her a lot of peace. The takeaway is clear: if you want to move forward, you have to let go of past hurts. Chapter 16, Loosen Your Bone, Wilma. In this final chapter, Sincero urges readers to relax and let go. Life is a journey, and stressing out too much can actually get in the way of achieving our goals. She shares examples of people who learned to relax and trust the process, which brought unexpected blessings. It's a reminder to enjoy the journey, be open to surprises, and trust that things will unfold as they're meant to. Here are the main takeaways from You Are a Badass. 1. Recognize and rewrite your subconscious beliefs. Sincero explains that we all have these hidden beliefs, often picked up in childhood, that shape how we see ourselves and what we believe is possible. Think about it like having a script running in the background, but you didn't even write it. If you grew up hearing money is hard to come by, that idea might hold you back from going after financial success. The first step is to notice these thoughts and then rewrite them with a positive spin, like I can create wealth doing what I love. It's all about swapping limiting beliefs for ones that actually empower you. 2. Live in the present moment. We're often either stuck in the past or obsessing about the future, but Sincero argues that real life happens only in the present. It's like if you're out with friends but mentally worrying about work tomorrow, you miss the joy of the moment. Sincero says that when we learn to live in the now, we feel more grounded and energized. Her advice? Try little practices, like putting your phone away during dinner or pausing to notice the details around you. It might sound simple, but it makes a huge difference. 3. Challenge the comfort zone, wake up from the big snooze. The big snooze is Sincero's term for our ego, that part of us that keeps us safe and comfortable, even if safe means stuck in a rut. She encourages us to challenge that snoozy voice and push beyond our comfort zones. For example, maybe you dream of starting a side business but think it's too risky. Sincero says the ego's fear of change is a natural reaction, but growth happens on the other side of that fear. It's scary, but even taking a tiny step towards something that excites you can help you wake up from the big snooze. 4. Love yourself like crazy. This is a big one. Sincero doesn't just mean self-love in the treat yourself sense, she's talking about really accepting who you are, flaws and all. Think of it as taking yourself out of the constant loop of self-criticism. It's as simple as catching yourself in a moment of negative self-talk, like thinking, I'm not good enough for this job, and flipping it around to something supportive, like, I bring value wherever I go. The more you treat yourself with respect and kindness, the more confident and capable you become. 5. Stop comparing and run your own race. It's easy to look at other people's lives and feel like you're falling behind. Sincero's advice? Stop comparing. Think of it this way: someone else's path is like a completely different race, you can't judge your progress against theirs. This is about focusing on your own goals and celebrating your unique journey, without worrying about how others are doing. By concentrating on what feels right for you, you build a life that's true to yourself, not based on what everyone else is doing. 6. Find your purpose and follow it. Sincero believes everyone has a unique purpose, and finding it is key to living fully. If you're not sure what your purpose is, start with what excites you or makes you lose track of time. Let's say you love writing, but your day job is in finance. Could you start a blog or write a book? Sincero's point is that by following those passions, even in small ways, you're aligning more with who you're meant to be. Purpose isn't always one big thing, it can be woven into the everyday. 7. Let go of clutter, mentally and physically. Both mental and physical clutter can weigh you down. Sincero talks about how clearing out things that don't serve us creates space for new opportunities. For example, clearing out clothes you no longer wear or saying goodbye to toxic relationships can make a surprising difference. The idea is that when you're not bogged down by things you don't need, you make room for things that truly energize and inspire you. 8. Meditate to connect with yourself and the universe. Meditation doesn't have to be about achieving Zen. Sincero makes it clear it's more about consistency. When you take a few minutes each day to quiet your mind, you get better at listening to your inner voice and connecting with the source energy. Even a short practice can help you feel more centered and less reactive. It's not about doing it perfectly, it's about simply showing up for yourself each day. 9. Take control of your thoughts. Our thoughts are powerful, what we think can literally shape our reality. Sincero suggests catching yourself when you spiral into negative thinking and redirecting those thoughts to something positive. It's like shifting from "I'll never be able to afford this" to "I'm open to creating more abundance." It's about teaching your brain to support your goals rather than work against them. 10. Follow your excitement, it's your guide. Sincero has a playful way of saying lead with your crotch, meaning follow your gut and chase what excites you, even if it seems a bit wild. When you're excited about something, you're more likely to make things happen. Let's say you're fascinated by photography but have never pursued it seriously. Sincero's advice? Start taking photos, even if it's just on your phone, and see where it leads. Your excitement is often a sign that something important is waiting for you. 11. Practice generosity and open yourself to receiving. Sincero emphasizes that giving and receiving are part of the same flow of energy. Whether it's giving your time, money, or attention, she says that generosity opens doors. On the flip side, it's just as important to let yourself receive without guilt, whether that's a compliment, a helping hand, or financial abundance. It's about creating a cycle where giving and receiving come naturally and abundantly. 12. Gratitude is a game changer. Sincero calls gratitude the gateway drug to awesomeness because focusing on what you're thankful for shifts your mindset entirely. It's easy to focus on what's wrong or what you're missing, but practicing gratitude helps you see all the good things around you. Sincero suggests writing down a few things you're grateful for each day. The more you practice this, the more you'll notice positive things happening. 13. Forgiveness frees you. Holding on to resentment only hurts you, not the person you're mad at. Sincero argues that forgiveness is less about letting the other person off the hook and more about freeing yourself from the weight of anger. Think of it like clearing out emotional junk. It doesn't mean what happened was okay, but it allows you to move forward with a lighter heart. 14. Trust the journey, relax and enjoy it. Finally, Sincero encourages us to relax and trust that things will work out. It's easy to feel stressed about reaching our goals, but she reminds us that life has a way of surprising us. She suggests trusting that the universe has your back, even when things don't go as planned. Instead of trying to control every detail, try to enjoy the journey and stay open to the twists and turns. Thanks for tuning in to Latodio. If you enjoyed this summary and want to keep expanding your reading list with quick, engaging insights, be sure to hit that follow button, subscribe, and share with friends who love books as much as you do. We'd love to hear what you thought of today's episode, so feel free to leave a comment. We'll link to the book in the description. Until next time, stay curious.